but she has guests this afternoon. Who wants her? Well, hang on just a minute. Just a minute. Mother. Mother. Yes, dear. Telephone. Oh, no, dear, not with all of them here. Oh, say I'm busy. But, Mother, it's the society editor of the evening newspaper. Oh, the society editor? Oh, she's very important. Oh, good afternoon, Miss Ellerby. Yes, this is Vita Simmons. A tea and reception for the members of the Wednesday Forum. You might say, program tea. Oh, my mother, you know, the late Marcella Fine Dowd, pioneer culture leader. Oh, yes, she came here as Oxy was a child, and she founded the Wednesday Forum. Myrtle, how many would you say? Well, 75 at least. Say 100. Oh, the 75. Oh, Miss Dewsbury Soloist, accompanied by Wilda McCurdy, accompanist. Mother, Miss Dewsbury's almost finished with her number. She'll do an encore. What about giving enough applause? Myrtle, I've known her for years. She'll do an encore. Oh, you might say I'm entertaining, assisted by my daughter, Miss Myrtle May Simmons. Oh, what color would you call that? Oh, Rancho Rose, they told me. Oh, Miss Myrtle May Simmons looked charming in a modest Rancho Rose toned dress, picked up at the girdle with a touch of magenta on emerald. I wish you could see her, Miss Ellerby. Mother, Miss Dewsbury's almost finished. Oh. And where's the cateress? Everything's ready. As soon as she's finished, we open the dining room doors and begin pouring. The halls and parlors are festooned with similex. Yes, festooned. Yes. Oh, well, right. This is the first party we've had in years. We all have our reasons. Oh, but I don't want it in the papers. Oh, the guest list? Oh, yes, Mother, come. Oh, I'll call you later, Miss Ellerby. We have nice refreshments in there if you want to go get Mother, Mrs. Chauvenet just came in. Oh, Miss Eugene Chauvenet, Sr. Her mother was a scout with Buffalo Bill. Look where she got that hat. Myrtle May. You have to be nice to her. She's a grandson about your age. Well, what difference will it make to Uncle Elwood? Remember, we're not going to talk about that this evening. The whole point of this party is to get you started. We work with those older women to the younger group. Well, we can't have anyone here in the evenings. Well, that's when men come to see you in the evenings. The only reason we can even have this party this afternoon is because Uncle Elwood is playing the pinochle at the 4th Avenue Firehouse. Oh, thank God for that firehouse. Well, they'll just have to ask you out, and it won't hurt them one bit. Oh, Myrtle, you have so much to offer. I don't care what anyone says. Oh, and there's some sweetness in every young girl. And then take that sweetness. Oh, and look what they do with it. Oh, but you've got to meet someone, Myrtle. That's all there is to it. Well, when I do, they say, that's Myrtle May Simmons. Her uncle is Albert P. Dowd, the biggest screwball in town. Albert P. Dowd, his pal. You promised. All right. Let's get them into the dining room. Okay, and as soon as they get here, make sure you do your little welcome speech on behalf of your grandmother. I'll be sure to do this. There you are. Well, and after that, I'll mention my Uncle Elwood and say a few words about his pal, Harvey. Damn, Harvey! Oh, well, that's right. Let everyone in the Wednesday Forum hear you. Well, you promised you wouldn't say that name. You promised and you said it. Well, I'm sorry, Mother, but how do you know Uncle Elwood will come in and will introduce Harvey to everybody? Oh, this is unkind of you, Myrtle. Your uncle is the biggest heartache I've had. Even if people do call him peculiar. Oh, well, he's still my brother. And he won't be home this afternoon. But are you sure? Of course I'm sure. Mother, why can't we live like other people? Must I remind you, we are not living with Elwood. Well, Elwood's not living with us. We are living with him. Living with him and Harvey? Did grandmother know about Harvey? I've wondered and wondered about that. Well, she never wrote me if she did. But why did she have to leave all of her property to Uncle Elwood? I suppose it's because she died in his not becoming in a young girl, and men loathe it. Oh, now don't forget to wave your hands. I'll do my best. Oh, Miss Tewksbury's voice is certainly fading. Not fast enough. Oh, lovely Miss Tewksbury, perfectly lovely. I love it.
Well, excuse me a moment, Harvey, but I have to answer the phone. Make yourself comfortable. Well, hello? Oh, well, you've got the wrong number, but how are you anyways? Oh, this is Ella P. Down speaking. Oh, well, I do. Well, thank you. What is your name, my dear? Oh, well, Miss Elsie Greenewalt. Well, Harvey, it's a Miss Elsie Greenewalt. Well, how are you today, Mrs. Greenewalt? Oh, well, that's fine. Well, yes, my dear, I would be happy to join your club. I belong to several clubs now. Oh, the Country Club. Oh, yes. The Universal Club. Oh, and the Pinochle Club down at the 4th Avenue Firehouse. Well, I spend a good deal of my time there, or over at Eddie's place, or over at Charlie's bar. Oh, yes. Oh, and what is your club, my dear? Oh, my. Well, Harvey, I get the Ladies' Home Journal, Good Housekeeping, and the Open Road for Boys, 14 years, for $6.25. Well, that sounds fine to me. I'll join it. Does it sound fine to you also, Harvey? Oh, well, Harvey says it sounds fine to him, too. He'll join. Oh, yes, 2 subscriptions. Mail everything to this address. Well, I do hope I get to meet you sometime soon, my dear. Well, Harvey, she says she would like to meet me. When? When would you like to meet me? Oh, well, why not now? My sister seems to be having a few friends over, and we would consider it an honor if you would join us. Oh, my sister will be delighted. Oh, yes, 343 Temple Drive. I hope to be seeing you in very few minutes. Good night, my dear. She says she'll be right over, Harvey. Don't you think we better freshen up? Oh, yes, as do I.
I can't seem to find that guest list. I must read it to Miss Ellerby. Have you seen it, Miss Johnson? No, I haven't, Simmons. Oh. Well, maybe it's a... well, maybe it's on my present. Better go check. Mother, Mrs. Chauvenet just came in. Oh, here she is, Mrs. Chauvenet. Oh, here's Mother. Oh, thank you, Simmons. I thought you were dead. Oh, no, Aunt Bubble, I'm very much alive. Oh, and this young lady must be your daughter. I've known you since you were a baby. I know. Now, what was your name? Oh, this is Myrtle May, the 2 sisters of her father. He's dead. Oh, that's what confused you. Oh, well, now, where's Elwood? Oh, Elwood couldn't be here, Aunt Ethel. Oh, who? Well, Elwood isn't here. No. Shame on him. That was the main reason I came. Oh, well, come. There are plenty of people anxious to speak to. Do you realize, Nina? It's been years since I've seen Elwood. Oh, no. You be seated. You're very tired. Where does the time go? But I was saying to Mrs. Chauvenet just the other night, what do you suppose happened to that Elwood Dowd? And he never comes to the club dances anymore. I haven't seen him at a horse show in years. Does Elwood see anyone these days? Yes. Elwood sees somebody. Yes, he does. Well, your Uncle Elwood, my dear, is one of my favorite people. Always has been. Yes, I remember. Vita, is Elwood happy? Yes, Aunt Ethel, Elwood's very happy. No need to worry about Elwood. Oh, Miss Ray Cummings just came in. Don't you want to speak to her? Oh, my. Well, she looks right good. Hasn't she? If you think she fair, you should see him. Well, I must have to go over for dinner tonight. She looks ghastly. I thought she was dead. Oh, no. What about tea, now? If you will forgive me, I will proceed you. changed. And what about your tea? Well, there's a bunch of don't like tea, and I love tea, and it's important that we eat too. Elwood. What night next week can you come to dinner?
Oh, well, any night at all. Oh, Aunt Ethel, I would be delighted.
Elwood, some mail came for you. I took it to your room. Go along.
Oh, well, thank you, Vida. Now, Aunt Ethel, I would like to introduce you to Harvey. Well, as you can see, he's a puka. Now, Harvey, you've heard me speak of Mrs. Chauvenet. Well, we always call her Aunt Ethel, and she is one of my oldest and dearest friends. Oh, yes, that's it. She's the one. Oh, this is the one. Oh, he says he wouldn't know you anywhere. Oh, well, you both look lovely this evening. Oh, come on in with me, Harvey. We must say hello to all of our friends. Oh, I beg your pardon, Aunt Ethel. If you'll excuse me one moment. Well, you are standing in his way. Well, come along, Harvey. Well, go right on in, Harvey. I'll join you in a moment. Aunt Ethel, well, I can see you are, well, disturbed about Harvey. Well, please don't be. He stares like that at everybody. It's his way. Well, but I could tell that he liked you. Well, he liked you very much. Would you like Harvey to wait too?
Yes, Elwood. I certainly do.
Well, sit down, Harvey. Vita said she'd like to talk to us. Well, she said it was important. Oh, yes, right there. Well, I think she wants to congratulate us on the impression we made at her party. Jane Austen, deluxe edition, limited, Grosset and Dunlap, well, the usual acknowledgements, chapter 1.
Mrs. O.R. Simmons, 343 Temple Drive, is that right?
Oh, yes, it's old, but we love it. It's our home.
And you wish to have your brother committed out here for treatment. What is your brother's name? Mrs. Simmons, what is your brother's name?
Oh, well, this isn't easy for me. I'll have to hold my head up and go on just the same. Well, that's what I keep telling Myrtle May, and that's what she keeps telling me. Oh, she's heartbroken over her Uncle Elwood. Elwood P. Dow, that's it.
Elwood P. Dow, his age?
47. The 24th of April, he's Taurus the bull, and I'm Leo. Myrtle's on a cusp.
Is he married?
Oh, no. No, Elwood never married. He stayed at home with Mother. Always been a great homeboy.
Do you have him with you now?
Oh, yes. I put him in a taxi cab down the drive. Oh, I gave the man $1 to watch. I didn't tell the man why. You can't tell those things to perfect strangers.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Would you please step down to a taxi cab in the driveway and ask Mr. Dow if you'd be good enough to step up to room number 24 South End G?
Why, certainly. Be glad to ask her.
Well, thank you. Kind boy.
The racer, Mrs. Simmons, you'll see them printed on this card.
Oh, that'll be taken care of by my mother's estate. The late Marcella Dow. Oh, the doctor's our attorney.
Now we'll see if Dr. Sanderson can see you.
Oh, Dr. Sanderson? Well, I'm going to see Dr. Tony Henson.
Oh, no, Mrs. Simmons. Dr. Tony sees nobody. Dr. Sanderson is the one who sees everybody.
Oh, well, he's still a psychiatrist, isn't he? He's still head of this institution, isn't he?
Still a psychiatrist. Dr. Tony is more than that. He's a psychiatrist with a national reputation. Whenever anybody has a mental breakdown, they can once speak of Dr. Tony.
Well, that's his office, isn't it? Well, you march right in there and tell him who's here. If he knows, he'll come out.
Oh, Mrs. Simmons, I wouldn't dare disturb him. I would be discharged if I did.
Oh, well, I don't want to be pushed off onto any second fiddle.
Mrs. Simmons, Dr. Sanderson is nobody's second fiddle. Well, he's young, of course, and he hasn't been out of medical school very long. But Dr. Tony tried out to cap Dr. Sanderson. He's really wonderful. Oh, to the patients, of course.
Very well. Tell him I'm here.
Right away.
Oh, dear.
Oh, well, Vita, isn't this wonderful?
Mrs. Simmons?
Oh, well, you started me. You're Dr. Sanderson?
Yes, will you be seated, please?
Thank you. I hope you don't think I'm jumpy like that all the time.
Of course not. Miss Kelly tells me you're concerned about your brother. Now is it? Elwood Dow?
Well, this isn't easy for me, Doctor.
Naturally, these things aren't easy for families of patients. I understand.
Oh, well, it's what Elwood's doing to himself, Doctor. That's the thing. Well, Myrtle has a right to a nice group of friends. She's young. Her whole life is ahead of her. Well, that's my daughter.
Your daughter. How long has it been since you began to notice the peculiarity of your brother's actions?
Well, it was right after Mother died. Myrtle May and I came back from Des Moines to live with Elwood. We could see that he... Well,
That he... what? Take your time, Mrs. Simmons. Don't strain. Let it come. I'll wait for it.
Doctor, everything I said to you was confidential, isn't it?
That's understood.
Oh, because of this. Slap in the face the way Elwood is acting now.
I'm not a gossip, Mrs. Simmons. I'm a psychiatrist.
Well, for one thing, he drinks.
To excess?
Oh, well, to excess? Well, don't you call go by without stepping into one of those cheap taverns, running among the riffraff and people you've never heard of, giving them food and money. And here I am, trying to get Myrtle May started off with a nice group of young people. If that isn't excess, I don't know what excess is.
I didn't doubt your statement, Mrs. Simmons. I merely asked if your brother drinks.
Well, yes, I say definitely Elwood drinks, and I want him committed out here permanently. I cannot stand another day of that Harvey. Myrtle May and I have to set a place at the table for Harvey. We have to move over on the sofa and make room for Harvey. We have to answer the telephone when Elwood calls and asks to speak to Harvey. Oh, but then at the party this afternoon, with Mishawaka there, well, we didn't even know anything about Harvey until we came back here. Doctor, don't you think it would have been a little time for your mother to have written and told me about Harvey? Be honest now. Well, don't you?
I really couldn't answer that question because
But I said I certainly would have.
This person you call Harvey, who is he?
He's a rabbit.
Perhaps, but just who is he? Some companion? Someone your brother has picked up in these bars of whom you disapprove?
Well, Doctor, I've been telling you, Harvey's a rabbit. A big white rabbit. 6 feet high. Or 6 feet and a half. Heaven knows. I ought to know. He's been around the house long enough.
Now, Mrs. Simmons, let me understand this.
Doctor, I've been telling you, my brother insists his closest friend is a rabbit. A big white rabbit. This rabbit is named Harvey. Harvey lives in our house. What don't you get? Like I told Myrtle May, if your uncle was so lonesome he had to bring something home, oh, well, why couldn't he bring home something human? He has me, doesn't he? He has Myrtle May, doesn't he? Oh, Doctor, I'm going to tell you something I've never told anybody in the world before. Well, every once in a while, well, I see that big white rabbit myself. Oh, now, isn't that terrible? Don't tell anyone. I've never even told that to Myrtle May.
Mrs. Simmons.
Oh, and what's more, he's every bit as big as Ellen says he is. Now, don't tell anyone. Oh, I'm ashamed of it.
I can see you've been under a great nervous strain recently.
I certainly have.
Nervously?
Oh, well, nobody knows how much.
Been losing sleep.
Well, how can anyone sleep with this going on?
Short temper over trifles?
Oh, you try to even go to and see how your temper holds up.
Loss of appetite.
Well, how can anyone eat at a table with my brother and this white rabbit? Well, I'm doing it. I'll sell the house, become conservator of the estate, and then Myrtle May and I can entertain our friends in peace. It's just too much, Doctor. I just can't stand it.
Of course, Mrs. Simmons. Of course.
Yes.
You've been worrying a great deal.
Oh, how can I help it?
And now I'm going to help you.
Oh, Doctor.
Just sit there quietly, Mrs. Simmons. I'll be right back.
Oh, well, I'll just go out to the cab to get Elwood's things. Oh, now just 1 minute.
Why didn't someone answer the buzzer?
I didn't hear you, Doctor.
I rang and rang.
She made a getaway, huh, Doc?
Mrs. Simmons? Her condition is serious. Go after her.
Oh, I can't believe it.
What will be available, Miss Kelly?
Number 13 Upper Star is ready, Doctor.
Have her taken there immediately, and I will prescribe preliminary treatment. I must contact her brother. Dow, is it? Elwood P. Dow. Get him on the telephone, please.
But, Doctor, I didn't know it was a woman who needed treatment. She said it's for her brother.
Of course she did. It's the oldest dodge in the world, always used by a cunning kind of psychopath. She apparently knew her brother was about to commit her, so she came out to discredit him. Get him on the telephone, please.
But, Doctor, I thought the woman was all right, so I had Wilson take the brother up to number 24 South G. He's there now.
You had Wilson take the brother in? No gags, please, Kelly. You aren't serious, are you?
Oh, I did, Doctor, I did. I'm terribly sorry.
Oh, well then, if you're sorry, guess that fixes everything. No.
Oh, I'll do it, Doctor. I'll do it. Miss Dunphy, will you please unlock number 24 and give Mr. Dowd his clothes back and...
Ask him to step down to my office right away.
Ask him to step down to the office right away. There's been a terrible mistake, and Dr. Sanderson would like to explain.
Explain? Apologize.
Well, they haven't come into the hydro tub yet. She'll let them out.
Beautiful and dumb, too. It's almost too good to be true.
Doctor, I feel terrible. I didn't know. Judge Gaffney called and said that Mrs. Simmons and her brother would be out here. And when they came in, you do not have to be sarcastic.
Oh, don't I? Stop worrying. We'll squirm out of this some way.
Where are you going?
We gotta tell the chief about it, Kelly. He may want to handle this himself.
Oh, he'll be furious. I know he will. He'll die and then he'll terminate me.
The responsibility is all mine, Kelly.
Oh, no, tell him it's all my fault.
I never mention your name. Except in my sleep.
But this man Dowd.
Keep him here, Kelly. I'll be right back.
What shall I say to him? What shall I do? Oh, he'll be furious.
Look, Kelly, he'll probably be fit to be tied, but he's a man, isn't he?
I guess so. His name is Mister.
Just go into your old routines, you know? The eyes, the swish, the words. I'm immune, but I've seen it work with some people, some of the people out here. Keep him here, Kelly. You have to do a striptease.
Well, you're a wonderful Dr. Sanderson. You're just about the most wonderful person I've ever met in my life.
Hey, how about giving me a lift here just the same?
What?
That's Simmons' name.
Did you catch her?
Slick as a whip. She was coming along the path on her little tune, and I jumped out from behind a tree and I said, "Sister, there's a man that wants to see you." Should have heard her yell. She's wacky, all right.
Take her to number 13 up North Star.
She's there now. I brought her into the diet kitchen. Say, if you hold her down, I'll take her clothes off.
Just a second, Wilson. Dr. Sanderson told me to stay here until my brother comes down.
We'll make it snappy.
You're Mr. Dowd?
Oh, well, Elwood P. Well, let me give you one of my cards. One moment. Well, if you should want to call me, well, call me at that number. Well, don't call me at that one. That's the old one.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, well, quite all right, my dear. And if you're to lose it, don't worry. I have plenty more.
Why don't you have a chair, please?
Well, yes, I'll have two. Allow me.
Uh-huh. Dr. Sanderson is very anxious to speak to you. He's being here in a minute.
Oh. Excuse me. Oh, well, won't you sit down?
Oh, no, I really can't. I'm in and out all the time, but you mustn't mind me. Please be seated.
Well, after you.
Can I get you a magazine to look at?
Well, Miss Kelly, I would much rather look at you. Well, if you don't mind. You are really lovely.
Oh, well, thank you. Some people don't tend to think so.
Well, some people are blind, and that is often brought to my attention. Well, and now I would like to introduce you to...
Mr. Dowd?
Well, Elwood P. Let me give you one of my cards if you should want.
Mr. Dowd, I am Dr. Lyman Sanderson, Dr. Cummings' assistant out here.
Well, good for you. I'm happy to know you. Well, how are you, Doctor?
That's going to depend on you, I'm afraid. Mr. Dowd, have you met Miss Kelly?
Well, I have had that pleasure, and now I would like both to meet
Later on, be glad to. Won't you be seated, because first I have to...
after Miss Kelly.
Sit down, Kelly.
Yes, Doctor?
Is that chair quite comfortable? Comfortable, Mr. Dowd?
Oh, why, yes, thank you. Would you care to try it?
No, thank you. How about an ashtray? Could we give Mr. Dowd an ashtray? Is it too warm in here for you, Mr. Dowd? Would you like me to open a window?
Mr. Dowd, Dr. Sanderson would like to know if we should open up a window for you.
No, well, that's entirely up to him. I wouldn't presume to live his life for him.
Now then, Mr. Dowd, I can see you're not the type of person to fall into any high-flown phrases or beating about the bush.
Well, is that so, Doctor?
You have us at a disadvantage here. You know it, we know it. Let's lay the cards on the table.
No, well, that certainly appeals to me, Doctor.
Best way in the long run. People are people, no matter where you go.
Well, that is very often the case.
And being human are therefore liable to mistakes. Miss Kelly and I made a mistake this afternoon, and we'd like to explain it to you.
It wasn't Dr. Sanderson's fault. It was all mine.
A human failing, as I said.
Well, I find it interesting. Nevertheless, well, you and Miss Kelly here, you say, this afternoon.
We do hope you understand, Mr. Dowd.
Oh, yes, of course. These things are often the basis of a long and warm friendship.
And the responsibility is, of course, not hers, but mine.
Well, your attitude may be old-fashioned, Doctor, but I like it.
Now fighting your sister first, that would have been an entirely different story.
Well, there you surprise me. Well, I think the world and all of Vida, but I suppose she had seen her day.
You must not attach any blame to her. She's a very sick woman. Come here insisting you would need a treatment.
That's perfectly ridiculous.
Well, Vida shouldn't worry about me. I get along fine.
Exactly. But she had already talked to Miss Kelly, and there had been a call from your family lawyer, Judge Gaffney.
Well, oh yes, I know him. Well, know his wife too. Well, they're very nice people.
Is there something I can get for you, Mr. Dowd?
What did you have in mind?
A light. Here. Let me give you a light. Your sister became extremely nervous and plunged right away into a
Heated tirade on your drinking.
Oh, well, Vida shouldn't worry about that. I mean, I'll take care of it, Doctor.
She became
hysterical.
Well, that was Vida.
Does your sister drink, Mr. Dowd?
Well, oh no, Doctor. I don't think Vida has ever taken a drink.
Well, I'm going to surprise you. I think she has, and does.
Constantly.
Well, that certainly surprises me.
But it's not her alcoholism that's going to be the basis for my diagnosis. It's much more serious than that. It's when she began talking so emotionally about this big white rabbit.
Harvey. Yes, I believe she called him Harvey.
Well, oh yes, Harvey is his name.
She claimed you were persecuting her with this Harvey.
Well, I haven't been persecuting Vida with Harvey. Well, she shouldn't feel that way. And now, Doctor, before we go any further, I must insist.
Let me make my point first, Mr. Dowd. Your sister's condition is serious, but I can help her.
She must, however, remain out here temporarily.
Well, I wouldn't want Vida to stay out here unless she liked it out here and wanted to stay.
Exactly. Did Wilson get when you went after Miss Kelly?
Yes, Doctor.
What was Mrs. Simmons' attitude?
Not unusual.
To sum it all up, if this were something reflected off the memory picture, in other words,
If she were seeing something she had seen once, that would be one thing. But it stands to reason no one has seen a white rabbit 6 feet high.
Well, not very often, Doctor.
I like your personality, Mr. Dowd.
Well, I like yours too. I like Miss Kelly's too.
Now, your
sister must remain out here temporarily.
under these circumstances, I would give it my own grandmother.
Well, does your grandmother drink too?
It's just an expression. Now, we'll be signing these commitment papers as of next of kin. Just a formality.
Well, you'd better have Vida do that, Doctor. She does all the signing and managing for the family. Well, she's good at it.
We can't disturb her right now.
Well, perhaps I better talk it over with Judge Gaffney.
You can explain it all to him later. How am I advising? It is as if you couldn't just stop in here and make inquiries. Glad to have you. When would you like to come back? Wednesday, say? Friday, say?
Well, you and Miss Kelly here have been so pleasant. I can come back, well, right after dinner, about an hour.
Well, we're pretty busy around here, but I guess that's all right.
Well, I don't really have to go now. Well, I'm not very hungry.
Delighted to have you stay. But Miss Kelly and I have to get upstairs now. Plenty of work to do. But I will tell you what you might like to do.
Well, what might I like to do?
Just so you know that in your sister's case, she is in safe hands. Why don't you look around you? You go through that door and take a right. You'll find the observational therapy room. Just beyond that, the conservatory, the library, and the dining kitchen.
Well, for Venus' sake, I believe I better do that, Doctor.
Very well, then. It was nice to have this little conversation with you.
Well, I've enjoyed it too, Doctor. Meeting you both and Miss Kelly.
Thank you.
Well, I must be going then.
Goodbye, Mr. Dowd. Whew. Now I can breathe again.
Boy, that was a close shave, all right. But he seemed to be a pretty reasonable sort of fellow. to be proud of, I don't know. I live up to that kind of pride. You get to almost anybody if you want to. Now I must have been that Simmons woman.
Dr. Sanderson,
Yes?
you say that you can get to anybody that you'd like to. How can you do that?
Takes years of specialized training. There's just one thing I don't like about this Dow business.
And what's that?
Having to make that date with him. Of course the man here has Leslie as a good friend and a boozer to the sanitarium. So I guess I'll go out with him tonight. But you don't have to.
Oh,
No point in it. I'll have a drink with him, pet him on the back, and leave. I've got a date tonight anyway.
oh, yes. I didn't intend to go anyway. You know, the idea of working is stiff. I wouldn't go if I never went anywhere again. I wouldn't go if my life depended on it.
What's your problem, Kelly? What are you getting so emotional about?
He may be a peculiar man with funny clothes, but he knows how to act. His manners were perfect.
I saw you giving him that gulpless stare. Didn't miss that.
He wouldn't sit down until I sat down. He told me I was lovely and called me dear. I would have a drink with him even if you weren't going.
Of course you would. And look at him. All he does is hang around bars. He doesn't work. All that corny bowing and getting up out of his chair every time a woman makes a move. Why, he's as outdated as a cast iron gear. So you go and have a drink with him and let him flatter you. You're a wonderful girl, Kelly.
Now let me tell you something, you.
Dr. Sanderson, Miss Kelly,
Yes, Doctor.
Doctor.
tell the gardener to move more carefully around my prized Dallas. Along the gate by the main road. They'll be ready for cut next week. Has the difficulty with that woman with the big white rabbit, has that been smoothed over?
Yes, Doctor. I just spoke to her brother and he seemed quite reasonable.
Well, I've had many patients out here who have seen animals. Never have I had one see one quite so large.
Yeah, Doctor? She called it Harvey.
Harvey? Unusual name for an animal of any kind. Harvey's a man's name. I've known several men in my day named Harvey, but never have I heard of an animal whatsoever with that name. The case has an interesting phase, Doctor.
Yes, Doctor.
I'll go upstairs with you and look in on this patient. It may be the case that we use my formula 977 on her, but I'll give you my advice and prescribe my treatment.
Thank you, Doctor.
Now, may I ask, what is that hat and coat from young chair over there? Who's this?
I don't know, Doctor. Do you know Miss Kelly? Was it now?
He had his hat on once he left. Perhaps it belongs to a relative of one of the patients.
Hand me that hat. Maybe there's some kind of identification on it.
Stop.
What's this? What's this? There's two holes cut out the crown of the hat, see?
Oh, that's strange.
Some new fad? Huh. Put it away, hang it up, get it out of here.
Yes, Doctor.
There you are, Wilson.
Hello, Doctor. How's that river old thing?
Fair, thank you, Wilson, fair.
Look, someone's gonna have to give me a hand with the Simmons thing. Order a restraining jacket or something. She's terrible. Hey, you forgot me, didn't you? Well, I got her corset off all by myself.
We're going to see the patient now, Wilson.
I brought her up. She's in the hydro tub. My God, I left the water running on her.
Wilson!
Willie! Remember your promise. Oh, hello, Dr. Sanderson. Willie, you didn't forget about Dr. McCur's cocktail party, did you? You
Oh.
promised him faithfully.
Oh, that's right. I have to go check the notification. I'll be down in a minute.
Oh, Willie, give him a quick look at notice. We don't want to be late for the party. That week. I'm just dying to see inside of that house. Good evening.
Well, good evening.
I am Mrs. Trumley, Dr. Trumley's wife.
Oh, well, Dow is my name. Elwood P. Well, let me give you one of my cards. Well, if you should like to call me at that number. Well, don't call me at that one. That's the old one.
Thank you. Is there something I can do for you?
Oh, well, what did you have in mind?
You seem to be looking for someone.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm looking for Harvey. I went off without him.
Harvey. Is he a patient here?
Oh, no, nothing like that.
Does he work here?
Oh, no, well, he's what you might Luca. Well, he came out here with me and Vita this afternoon.
Oh, where was he when you last saw him?
He was, in that chair there with his hat and coat.
Well, there doesn't seem to be any hat or coat around here. Perhaps he left.
Well, apparently. I don't see him anywhere.
What was that word you said? Puka?
Oh, well, yes, that's it.
Is that something new?
Well, oh no, as I understand it, well, that's something very old.
Well, I've never happened to have heard it before.
Well, I'm not, well, too surprised at that. Well, I hadn't myself until I met him. But I do hope he gets a chance to meet you. Well, I'm sure he would be quite taken with you.
Oh, that's very nice of you to say so, I'm sure.
Well, if Harvey happens to take a liking to someone, well, he expresses himself, well, quite definitely. Well, if he's not particularly interested, well, he sits like an empty space on the floor or an empty chair. Well, Harvey takes his time making up his mind about people, choosy, you see.
That's not such a bad way to be in this day and age.
Well, Harvey's fond of my sister Vita. Well, that's because he is fond of me. Now, you'd think that feeling would be mutual, wouldn't you? But Vita doesn't seem to care for Harvey very much. Isn't that a little too bad, Mrs. Chumley?
Oh, I don't know, Mr. Dowd. I gave up a long time ago expecting my family to like my friends.
Well,
it's useless.
But we must keep trying.
There's no harm in trying, I suppose.
Because if Harvey had said it to me once, he had said it a million times. Mr. Dowd, I would do anything for you. Well, Mrs. Chumley.
Yes?
Well, did you know that Mrs. McElhenney's Aunt Rose is going to drop in on her unexpectedly tonight from Cleveland?
Why, no, I didn't.
Well, neither does she. That puts you both in the same boat, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know anyone named Mrs.
McElhenney? Well, lives next door to us. She's a wonderful woman. And Harvey told me about that little news item, and you are perfectly free to pass it around.
Well,
Oh, would you care to come downtown with me now, my dear? Well, I'd be glad to buy you a drink.
Thank you. But I'm waiting for Dr. Chumley. And if he came down here and found me gone, he'd be like afraid. He'd be irritated.
Well, we wouldn't want that, would we?
I'll tell you what I'll do, however.
Well, what will you do, however? Well, I'm interested.
If your friend comes in while I'm still here, I'd be more than happy to give him a message for you.
Oh, would you do that for me? Well, I'd certainly appreciate it.
Oh, no problem at all. I'll write it down with that little this card right here. What would you like me to tell him if he comes in while I'm still here?
Well, tell Harvey to meet me downtown. Well, if he has no further plans.
Meet Mr. Dowd downtown. Any particular place downtown?
Oh, well, Harvey knows where. He knows this town like a book.
Harvey, you know where. Harvey what?
Well, just Harvey.
I'll tell you what.
Well, what?
Dr. Chumley and I are heading downtown to 12 and Montague. Oh, goodness, this purse. Oh, please be true. And we'd be more than happy to give your friend a ride downtown.
Oh, well, would you do that? Well, I'd hate to impose on you, but I'd certainly appreciate it.
No problem. Dr. McClure is having a cocktail party for her sister from Wichita.
Well, I didn't know Dr. McClure had a sister from Wichita.
Oh, you know Dr. McClure?
No.
What?
Well, are you quite sure you have time to come downtown with me, my dear?
I couldn't. I really couldn't. Thank you, though.
Some other time, perhaps.
Thank you.
Well, it's been a great pleasure meeting you, my dear, and I hope I get to meet you sometime soon.
Yes.
Well, good night, my dear. Oh, well, you can't miss Harvey. Well, he's very tall. Well, like that.
That little woman is unfortunate, Doctor. She refuses to admit that she has a rabbit. Insists it's her brother. Ugh. Give her 2 of these at 9 and another at 10. If she continues to be so restless, another trip to the hydro room at 8 and 1 in the morning at 7. Then we'll see if she will cooperate, Doctor.
Yes, Doctor.
You're going to call me if you need me. You ready, Pat?
Oh, yes, Lord. And, oh, Willie.
Yes?
There was a man here named... Oh, let me see. Oh, where is that card he gave me? Oh, here it is. Dowd. L.P. Dowd.
That's Mr. Simmons' brother. I gave him a visitor's pass so that he could look around.
She mustn't see anyone tonight. Not anyone at all. Tell him that.
Yes, Doctor.
He wasn't looking for her. He was looking for someone else. Some friend of his.
Gaffney. Judge Gaffney.
Henry, did a man in a brown suit go through the main gate a minute ago? He did? He's gone?
Judge Omar Gaffney. Good evening, Judge. This is Dr. William Troupe, the psychiatrist. I'm calling to make a routine check on spelling the name before we enter it into our records. You called out here this afternoon about a crime charge being committed. How do you spell that name? With a W? Not a U. Mr. Elwood Keydow? Thank you, Judge. Dr. Sanderson! I believe that is your name?
Yes, Doctor.
You know that. You went to medical school. You studied in the field of psychiatry. You graduated and you went forward. Perhaps they neglected to tell you that a rabbit has large, pointy ears. That a hat for a rabbit would have to be perforated to make room for those ears.
That seemed reasonable enough this afternoon, Doctor.
Oh. The function of a psychiatrist is to tell the difference between those who are reasonable and those who really talk and act reasonable. Do you realize what you've done? Don't answer that. You have committed a psychopathic case to roam off these grounds with an overgrown white rabbit. Do you realize what you've done to me? You subjected me, a psychiatrist, to call, of all things, a lawyer to find out who came out here to be committed and who came out here to commit. Just Wilson, I want you because I'm going to have to do something I haven't done in 15 years. I'm going to have to go after this patient, Elwood Keydow, and bring him back here. And when I do bring him back, oh, your connections with this institution. And as of that moment, Wilson, get the car. Pat, call the clerk and tell him we can't make it. Miss Kelly, come upstairs with me and get that woman out of the tub.
Yes, Doctor. Oh, come back, call the cook. Tell them we're home for dinner. She'll be so angry. Wilson.
Yes, ma'am.
What is a puka?
A what?
A puka.
You can search me, Miss Chummy.
Oh, this is an encyclopedia. They have everything here. I wonder if it's a lot.
P-O-O-K-A. Puka. From old Celtic mythology, a fairy spirit in animal form. Always very large, the puka appears here and there, now and then, to this one and that one at his own price. A wise but mischievous creature, very fond of rum pots, crack pots, and how are you, Mr. Wilson? How are you, Mr. Wilson? Well, who in the encyclopedia wants to know? Out of hell with it.
Well, where is she?
Where's the Judge Gaffney?
I mean your mother. Where is Louise?
Why, Judge, you know where she is. She took off alone out of the sanitarium. Well, sit down, won't you?
I know you're not in sanitarium, but why was she coming into the club with a lot of hysteria? Couldn't get a word of what she was saying. Carrying on something fierce.
Mother carrying on? What about?
I don't know. She was hysterical.
That's strange. She took off alone out of the sanitarium. All she had to do was put him in. Did you find it?
Oh, yes, I did, dear.
I'll be right up. They found it.
Who? Found what?
Well, when Mother left Uncle Elwood, I went down to the real estate office to put the house on the market. What do you think I found?
Not a quiz, kid.
Well, I found a woman who's looking for an old house just like this to cut up in the Buffet apartments. She's going to
Now
hell.
see here, May. This house does not belong to you. It belongs to your Uncle Elwood.
Well, but now that Uncle Elwood's locked up, Mother controls the property, doesn't she?
Where is your mother? Where is Louise?
Judge, I told you. She went out to Chumley's breast to tell them about Harvey and put Uncle Elwood in.
I know, but I just don't understand it. Why would you call me at the club, in the middle of my game, screaming at me to hear about something important?
I don't know. I simply don't know. Do you have the deed to this house?
Well, certainly.
it's in my safe. Now, Myrtle, I feel awful with this thing of locking Elwood up.
Mother and I can take a long trip now. How to Pasadena?
I've always liked that boy. He could have done anything, been anything, made a place for himself in his community.
And all he did was get a big rabbit.
He had everything, you know? Brains, personality, friends. Men liked him, and women liked him. Even I liked him.
Are you telling me that once Uncle Alfred was like other men? Well, that women actually liked him? I mean in that way.
Not since he started running around with that rabbit of his, but they did once. Once that mailbox of your grandmother's was filled with those little blue envelopes, all for Elwood.
I don't believe it.
Of course, there was always something different about Elwood.
I don't doubt that.
He always took everything so calmly. I used to admire him, but I should have been suspicious. Take your average man looking up and seeing a great white rabbit. He would have done something about it. But not Elwood. Then look where he got it.
You don't dream how far overboard he has gone on this rabbit.
Yes, I do. He's had that rabbit in my office many a time. I may be old, but I don't as much. What's that noise?
Oh, just unexpected biomarker for everything. Mother! Oh, look, Judge!
Hey, Louise, what's wrong?
I never let anything near you again!
Oh, take hold of the judge. Looks like she's doing a fake, Mother. And you're all right. You're looking perfectly all right.
Steady, steady.
Oh, please, not so fast!
Don't rush her, Myrtle. Ease her in.
Mother!
I just want to sit down. Oh, simply find me a place where I can sit down.
Here you are, Rita. Easy, Myrtle.
Gas bell.
Here's some tea, Myrtle. Would you like some tea, Rita?
I'll put some tea, Mother. We'll get her coat on, Judge.
Let Myrtle get your cut off, Rita. Get her cut off. Myrtle?
Let me be. Let me sit here. Let me get my breath.
Let her get her breath, Judge.
Well, let me sit here and let me go upstairs to my own room where I can let go.
What happened, Mother?
Oh, are you have to sue them? They let me in and put Elwood out.
What? What's this?
Oh, just look at my hair.
Oh, but why? What did you say? What did you do? Oh, you must have done something.
Well, I didn't do one thing. I simply told them about Elwood and Harvey.
Then how could it happen to you? I don't understand.
Well, I don't know. I told them about Elwood, then I went down to the cab to get his things. I was walking along the bed, and this awful man stepped out. He was a white slaver. I know he was. He was wearing one of those white suits. That is how they advertise.
A man? What did he do?
Well, what did he do? Oh, he took me upstairs, and then he...
Go on, Louise. Go on, Myrtle.
Was he a young man?
Myrtle May. Perhaps you have
Now I should say not to go on, Mother.
What did you do, Theo?
He took me upstairs and tore my clothes off.
Oh, did you hear that, Judge?
I'll sue them for this.
And then he dumped me down in a tub of water.
Oh, for heaven's sake!
Oh, but I always thought that what you were showed on your face. Don't you believe it, Judge? Don't you believe it, Myrtle May? This man took hold of me like I was a woman of the street. But I fought. Oh, I always said if a man jumped at me, I'd fight. Haven't I always said that, Myrtle?
That's right, Judge. That's what Mother always told me to do.
And then he hustled me into that sanitarium, dumped me down in that tub of water, and began treating me like I was
Well, what?
a crazy woman! Oh, but he did it just for spite!
Well, I'll be damned!
And then all those doctors came upstairs and asked me lots of questions, all about sex urges, and all that filthy stuff. Oh, are you happy with the authorities to clean that place up, Virgil? Oh, don't you ever go in there, you hear me?
This thing's a high head, Rita. By God, it stinks.
Oh, are you have to sue that you have to?
I will, Rita. By God, I will. If this chummy thinks he can run an unsavory place like this on the outskirts of town, he'll be publicly chastised. By God, I'll run him out of the state.
Oh, Judge, is that all men do at places like that? Think about sex.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, because if it is, they ought to be ashamed of themselves and on their head anyways. Oh, they should go and take long walks in the fresh air. Just
say these doctors came up to talk to you. Dr. Chumley and what was the other doctor's name?
Sanderson. Oh, but don't believe a word he says. He's a liar. No set eyes. They're always liars. Plus, I told him something in strict confidence, and he blabbed it.
What did you tell him, Mother?
Oh, what does it matter what I said? I don't want to talk about it. But you can't trust anyone.
Anything you told this Dr. Sanderson, you can tell us your news. Marshall May is your daughter, and I'm your lawyer.
Oh, well, I know which is which. I said I don't want to talk about it. I want to get upstairs to my room so I can let go.
Oh, now, Mother. Well, this is the important thing anyways. Where's Uncle Elwood?
I should have known better than to do anything about him. Something protects him. Oh, that awful Luca!
Mother, answer me. Where's Uncle Elwood?
I don't know. They let him go. They're not interested in men at places like that. I'm so naive, Myrtle May. What's that noise?
Well, I found a buyer for the house.
What?
Now, Mother, no matter who jumped at me, we've got to lock Uncle Elwood up.
I told you I don't know where he is. Next time you take him, Judge. Oh, if Ellen knew what they did to me, he couldn't stand it. Oh, are you happy if you're going to clean that place up? Oh, Myrtle. I hope that never, ever, as long as you live, a man rips the clothes off you and dumps you down in a tub of water.
Well, now, see, Mother about everything. No matter what happened out there, Uncle Elwood's still out wandering the streets with Harvey.
The thing for me to do is to take some more notes.
It's all his fault. Well, he found out what she was up to, and he put her in. Well, then he ran.
Now, don't say that. Your uncle thinks of more than all of your mother. Ever since he was a little boy, he would do anything he could to share everything he had with her.
I won't give up. Look at detectives. We'll find him. But besides, you should save some of that sympathy for Mother and I, who don't know what we have to put up with. Wait until I show you something Uncle Elwood brought me 6 months ago. Well, then we had to hide out in the garage. Oh, wait
I'm
till
going
I show you, Judge.
to There's something in this that she's not telling us. I can sense it.
You wait till I show you.
All right. I'll wait.
Okay, is he here?
What? What's this?
That crap top with the rabbit. Is he here?
No. And who, may I ask, are you?
Not here, Doctor. Okay, Dr. Chumley's coming in anyways. What's your name? Let's have it.
Well, I've got something to say to him.
No, what's your name? Let's have it.
I am Judge Gaffney. Where is Chumley?
There you are, Doctor. This guy says his name is Judge Gaffney.
Dr. Chumley, we must talk.
Good evening, Judge. Let's cut to the chase. Has he been here?
Sure he ain't been here.
No, but I have to speak to you, Doctor. Something occurred this afternoon at the sanitarium.
Of course he hasn't been here. He's good. It's gonna be an awful job to smoke now. There's lying there cunning, but I can get him. I always get him. Wilson, you have the list of places that we've been?
Right here, Doctor.
Read it.
Okay, we've been to 17 bars. Charlie's Place, Eddie's Place, Betsy's Barn Dance, the 4th Avenue Firehouse, the 10th, the 12th, 9th Avenue Firehouses, just to make sure. Union Station, the grain elevator. Say, why does this guy go down in a grain elevator?
The foreman is a friend of his. He has many friends, many places.
We came here to ask Mrs. Simmons if she has any other suggestions of where she might be.
Dr. Chumley, I must inform you that Mrs. Simmons has retained me to file suit against you.
What?
For what's happened this afternoon at the sanitarium.
A suit?
While we're on the subject.
That's pretty, ain't it? After dragging your tail all around town trying to find that guy?
What happened this afternoon was an unfortunate mistake, and I discharged the assistant who made it, and I am willing to take this case on personally. It interests me, and my interest in cases is something no amount of money can buy.
But the business this afternoon, Doctor.
What under the damn? This is how I see it. I see it this way. We need to get Mr. Dowd back to the sanitarium, where he belongs.
I agree.
Allow me to introduce Mrs. Marjorie Simmons, Mr. Dowd's niece, and Mrs. Simmons' daughter.
How do you do, Dr. Chumley?
How do you do, Murder?
Hey, young mother.
Now let me talk to
Mrs. Simmons.
Mother won't come down. I know she won't. Why don't you go talk to her, Judge?
Your mother was manhandled. She was, God knows what she was, but this man's approach to her was not professional. It was personal.
Wilson, this is a serious charge.
Dr. Chumley, I've been with you for 10 years. Are you honestly going to believe, what's your name again?
Gaffney. Judge Omar Gaffney.
Thanks. You going to believe this old blister Gaffney?
Wilson!
Me and a dame who sees the rabbit.
It's not Mrs. Simmons who sees the rabbit, it's her brother.
Yes, it's Uncle Elwood.
If you'll come with me, Doctor.
Wilson, I have a situation to take care of. Wait for me.
So, your name is Myrtle May, huh?
Yes.
Say, if we nag your uncle, will I able to come out to the sanitarium on visiting days?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, if you do, I'll be there.
You will.
Yeah, and if you don't see me right away, don't worry. I'll show up.
You will.
Yeah. Say, you could Dr. Chumley tell me to wait?
Yes.
Well, I could sure use a sandwich and a cup of coffee.
Well, certainly, you can forgive me. I'll just meet you in the kitchen.
Yeah, you're all right, Myrtle. Dr. Chumley knows that you don't miss a trick.
What?
You got something, kid. Not only you got a nice coat, but you got something else too.
What?
You got the screwiest uncle that ever stuck his nose in under the house.
Oh.
Oh, hello. Chumley's rest. Well, is Dr. Chumley there? Oh, it's Mrs. Chumley. Well, this is Elwood P. Dowd speaking. Well, how are you tonight? Oh, well, that's fine. Oh, well, tell me, Mrs. Chumley, were you able to locate Harvey? Oh, well, that's quite all right. I'll find him. Well, I'm sorry I missed you at the McClure cocktail party. Well, the people were all charming, and I was able to leave quite a few of my cards. I waited until you phoned and said a patient had escaped. Well, where am I? Well, I'm here. Oh, but I'm leaving right away. I must find Harvey. Well, good night, Mrs. Chumley. My regards to you and anybody else you happen to run into. Good night.
But Mrs. Simmons.
Well, that's what I said.
But $50,000 is a lot.
Yes, I know. Well,
This picture above your mantle.
oh, wait a second. Hello? Yes. Oh, well, all right.
The picture above your mantle.
Oh, that portrait happens to be the pride of this household.
Who painted it?
Oh, some boy. He was here for the sitting. I don't even know his name. We paid him and he left. Oh, yes, sorry about that. Oh, no, this is extra 1567. That's all right. Goodbye.
I guess if you have the money to persuade or to pay people, you can persuade them to do, well, anything.
Dr. Chumley, when you pulled me out of the tub of your place, what did I say to you?
Oh, you express yourselves in words. I don't remember.
I said this is belated civility, isn't that said what I said, Dr. Chumley.
You said something of the sort.
Oh, well, you brought this up. You better learn something quick. I took an art class this last winter. The difference between a fine oil painting and a mechanical thing like a photograph is simply this. A photograph shows only reality. A painting shows not only the reality, but the dream behind it. What's our dreams that keep us going, that separate us from the beast? I wouldn't even want to live if all I thought life was eating and sleeping and taking my clothes off. Or putting them on again. What?
Steady. Don't get too excited. Everything's gonna be all right. Now, what's the matter?
That's not my mother!
I'm glad to hear.
Elwood's been here, Doctor! Elwood's been here!
Better be quiet. You can still be here. Oh, I'll get it. Hello? Yes. Yes. Who is this? Mrs. Simmons, it's your brother.
Let me talk to him.
Be calm. Don't tell him I'm here. And be casual. Casual.
Elwood! Yes! Now, where are you? What? Elwood. He wants Harvey to come to the telephone. He wants to know if he's here.
Tell him he is here.
But he isn't.
Tell him he's here. That will bring him here. We have to humor him. We do have to humor him.
Okay, well. Elwood! Yes! Oh, Harvey is here! Oh, now come home. What? No, but Elwood, it won't work. He wants Harvey to come to the telephone.
Tell him he's here, but he can't come to the telephone. Tell him that he's in the bathtub.
Bathtub?
Tell him that he's here, but he's in the bathtub, and that you'll send him over there because he's drunk.
Oh, doctor.
Now you gotta do it, Mrs. Simmons.
Hello? Elwood, yes. Harvey is in the bathtub. That's why he can't come to the phone. I will send him over as soon as he is dry. Now, where are you? Elwood? Hello? Elwood? Oh!
Did he hang up?
He said Harvey just walked in the door. He said to check the bathtub. This must be a stranger. Well, I know where he is. 12th and Main, Harvey's place. That's his favorite bar.
12th and Main? Oh, that's 2 blocks down and 1 block over.
Where are you going?
I'm going to get your brother and take him out to the sanitarium, where he belongs.
Doctor, don't do that. Send one of your attendants instead.
But if I'm to help your brother,
Oh, my brother cannot be helped. He should be picked up and knocked up and left.
you consider your brother a dangerous man?
Dangerous.
Why?
Well, if I didn't, would I be trying to commit him?
Then I must watch his face. I must watch the expressions as he talks to the rabbit. You did say he talks to the rabbit, right?
Oh, they tell each other everything.
What's that?
Oh, yes, he talks to the rabbit, but don't go after him. I'm warning you.
Nonsense, Mrs. Simmons. You underestimate me.
Oh, no. You underestimate my brother.
No, I'll get him.
Mercy, well, check who's in the bathtub. Oh.
What about the stuff upstairs, Doc?
All packed. Thanks, Wilson.
So when you take it out?
As soon as Dr. Chumley gets back.
Hey, Kelly, did you hear anything back from the desk sergeant at the police accident bureau?
Not yet. I just talked to down from the dispensary. They haven't seen him.
It's beginning to smell awful funny with me. 4 hours he's been gone and I don't work from him. Doc, I want to say I wish you a lot of luck in the mighty sorry with that keeping you at pray.
Thanks, Wilson. Good luck to you, too.
Look, Kelly, let me know when you hear something from me. Doc should know better than to go after a cycle without me. I'm going to town to look for him.
I like to help look for the doctor, too, Wilson.
That's nice of you, Doc. Right after he gave you a kick in the boot.
I've no resentment against Dr. Chumley. He was right, and I was wrong. Dr. Chumley is the biggest man in this field. It's my loss not to be able to work with him.
Hey, you ain't so smart yourself.
Thanks, Wilson.
Don't mention it.
Dr. Sanderson,
Yes?
well, I'd like to say that I wish you well luck too, and I'm sorry to see you leave.
Are you sure you can spare these good wishes, Miss Kelly?
Well, on second thought, I guess I can't. Forget it.
Miss Kelly, this is for nothing, just a little advice. Be a little careful if I were you about the company I kept.
I beg your pardon.
I saw you dancing with that drip in the rose room down at the Frontier Hall.
Oh, did you? I didn't notice you.
Be a little careful of him if I were you. That man looked like a schizophrenic all the way across the floor.
Oh, you really shouldn't have given him a shot, Doctor. It was my date, not yours.
That was his mentality. The rest of him,
But
well...
she was beautiful, though.
Who?
That girl you were with.
I thought you didn't notice.
How could I help it? You bumped into us twice.
Not that it has anything to do with you, but that girl's a charming little lady. She has a sweet kind of disposition, and she knows how to conduct herself.
Funny, she couldn't rate a better date on a Saturday night.
And she has an excellent mind.
Why doesn't she use it?
Oh, I don't suppose you to be censored for that flimmer show you have. You must be compensating for something.
I am not. And don't you use any of your psychiatry on me.
Oh, if I could use something on you, just once, just to see if you're under any circumstances, I doubt it.
You'll never know, Doctor.
Because you interest me as a case history. That's all. Now I'd like to know where you get that inflated ego.
Oh, if you aren't the meanest person ever! Case history, inflated ego!
Don't run away. Let's finish this.
Leave me alone!
Gladly.
Shall these press? Yes, Sergeant. No accident report through the town or the suburbs. Look, Sergeant, maybe we better... Oh, never mind. He's here now. Goodbye. Mr. Dowd.
Well, good evening, my dear. These are for you.
Oh, for me? Thank you.
Well, they're quite fresh, too. I just picked them outside.
I hope Dr. Shelby didn't see you. There's prize dahlias. Did you go upstairs?
Oh, well, not knowing. Well, I cannot stay. Well, where is Dr. Sanderson?
Oh, in his office there, I think.
Well, thank you.
Now, there you are.
Well, I have a cab waiting outside. If you and Miss Kelly are able to get away now.
Where's Dr. Chumley?
Oh, is he coming with us? Well, that's nice.
I don't know, Doctor.
Oh, well, I must apologize for being a few seconds late. Well, I thought Miss Kelly here should have some flowers. Well, after what happened up to this afternoon, Doctor, well, the flowers should really be coming from you. Well, as you grow older and pretty women pass you by, you will think with deep gratitude of these generous girls of your youth. Shall we go now?
Just a minute, Dowd. The situation has changed since we last met, but I urge you to have no resentment. Dr. Chumley is your friend. He only wants to help you.
Well, that's very nice of him, and I would like to help him too.
Now, if you'll begin by taking a cooperative attitude, that's half the battle. We all face reality, sooner or later.
Well, Doctor, I wrestled with reality for 40 years, and I'm happy to state that I finally won it over. Well, won't you and Miss Kelly join me down at Charlie's place?
There you are. Upstairs, buddy. We're going upstairs.
Well, there must be some mistake. Well, Miss Kelly, Dr. Sanderson, and I are going downtown for a drink. Well, we'd be glad to have you come with us, Mr.
Wilson.
Wilson. Well, they have a wonderful floor show.
Yeah, well, wait till you see the floor show we've got. Upstairs.
Just a minute, Wilson. Where did you say Dr. Chumley went down?
Well, as I said, he did not confide his plans with me.
Wait, you mean the doc ain't showed up yet?
Not yet.
Well, where is he?
That's what we're trying to find out.
Mr. Dowd walked in here by himself.
Oh, did he, eh? Listen, talk faster. I'm working you over.
Well, I'd rather you didn't do that, and I'd rather you not even mention such a thing in the presence of a lovely young lady like Miss Kelly.
Mr. Dowd, Dr. Chumley went into town to pick you up. That was 4 hours ago.
Well, where has the evening gone to?
Listen to that. Smart, eh?
Just a minute, Wilson. Did you see Dr. Chumley tonight, Dowd?
Yes, I did. He came into Charlie's place at dinner time. Well, it's a very cozy spot. Why don't we all go down there and talk it over with a tall one?
Listen, I'm asking you a question. If you don't button up and give me some straight answers, I'm gonna beat it out of you.
Well, what you suggest is impossible.
What is that?
Well, you suggest that I will button up and give you some straight answers. Well, it just can't be done.
Let me handle this, Wilson.
We'll handle it then. Find out where the doc is.
Dr. Chumley did come to Charlie's place, you said?
Yes, he did, and I was very glad to see him.
That's right. Sit here and listen to this guy, and the doc's probably bleeding to death in a ditch.
Well, if those were his plans for the evening, he did not tell me.
Go on, Dad.
Well, Dr. Chumley, well, he came into Charlie's place while me and Harvey were there, and he sat down with us. Well, I was sitting in the booth in the outside like this, and Dr. Chumley was seated on the inside, across from Harvey to where we could see him.
That's right. Spend all night on seating arrangements.
Well, Harvey then suggested that, well, maybe we buy a drink together, and, well, then I suggested to Dr. Chumley that we join him in a drink.
And then what?
Well, we joined him.
Go on.
Well, we joined him again.
And then what?
We kept right on joining him.
Skip all the joining.
Well, you are asking me to skip a large portion of the evening.
Tell us what happened to the doc. Come on, please.
Well, Dr. Chumley and Harvey got into a conversation. Well, quietly at first, but later on it became rather heated and Dr. Chumley raised his voice.
Yeah? Why?
Well, Harvey seemed to feel that Dr. Chumley should, well, assume part of the financial responsibility of the joining. Well, Dr. Chumley didn't seem to agree.
I can believe that part.
Let him talk, Kelly. Let's see how far it'll go. This guy's got guts.
Well, I agreed to take the whole thing because I did not want any trouble. Well, we go to Charlie's place a lot, Harvey and I, and the proprietor is a fine man with an interesting approach to life. Well, then the other matter came up.
Cut the damn double talk and get on with it.
Mr. Wilson, well, you are a sincere type of person, but I must ask you not to use that language in the presence of Miss Kelly.
You're right, darling. We're sorry. You say the other matter came up?
Oh, there was a beautiful blonde woman, a Mrs. Smethills, and her escort seated in the booth across from us. Well, Dr. Chumley then went over to her, explaining to her that he had met her once in Chicago. Well, her escort then escorted Dr. Chumley back over to Harvey and I, well, explaining to Dr. Chumley that it would be good for him to mind his own affairs. Well, does he have any?
Does he have any what?
Does he have any affairs?
How would I know?
Oh, please hurry, Mr. Dowd. We're all so worried.
Dr. Chumley then urged Harvey to go over to Milandi's Chicken Inn with him. Well, Harvey wanted to go to Eddie's instead, and while they were arguing about it, I went over to the bar to order another drink. When I came back, they were gone.
Where'd they go?
Well,
I mean, where did the doctor go?
Well, I don't know. I had a date out here with Miss Kelly and Dr. Sanderson, and I came out here to pick them up, hoping that later on we'd run into them and make a party of it.
Okay, you satisfied? You got a story. Okay, you're lying and I know it.
I never lie, Mr. Wilson.
You've done something with the doctor and I'm finding out what it is.
Don't touch him, Wilson.
Maybe he isn't lying, Wilson.
That's all this guy is a bunch of lies. He couldn't come out here with a normal case of TTs. Nah, he has to come out here with a 6-foot rabbit.
Maybe Dr. Chumley did go to Charlie's place.
And saw a big white rabbit, I suppose.
Well, and why not? Well, Harvey was there. Well, at first the doctor seemed a little frightened of Harvey, but that gave way to admiration as the evening wore on. The evening wore on. That's a nice expression, and with your permission, I'll say it again. The evening wore on.
With your permission, I'll knock your teeth down your throat.
Mr. Wilson, haven't you some old friends you could go play with?
The nerve of this guy!
Oh, well, stimulating as this all is, I really must be getting downtown.
Charlie's place. Is Dr. Chumley around there? He was there earlier than Mr. Dowd. What? Oh, don't bite my head off! Oh, my, that man was mad. He said that Mr. Dowd was welcome anytime, but his friend was not.
That was Mr. McNulty, the bartender. Well, he thinks a lot of me. Why don't we all go down there and have a drink?
Wait a minute.
Mr. Dowd?
Well, yes, my dear. May I hold your hand?
Yes, if you want to. Poor Mr. Chumley is so worried. Something must have happened to the doctor. Won't you try to remember anything that all might help?
Well, for you, I would be willing to do anything. I would almost be willing to relive my whole life, but I've relived it all. Well,
Are you sure?
well, quite sure, my dear, but ask me again, won't you? I liked the warm tone you had in your voice just then.
So did I.
Nuts.
What?
Nuts.
Well, I really must be getting downtown. Well, I have things to do.
Mr. Dowd, what is it you do?
Well, Harvey and I, well, we sit in the bars and play the jukebox and have a drink or two. Well, soon the faces of others turn towards mine and smile. Well, they are saying, we don't know your name, mister, but you're a really lovely fellow. Well, Harvey and I warm ourselves in these golden moments when we have entered strangers, and soon we have friends. Well, they come over, they sit with us, they drink with us, they talk to us. Well, they tell us about the big, terrible things they have done, the big, wonderful things they will do. Well, their hopes, their regrets, their loves, their hates, will all very large because nobody ever brings anything small into a bar. Then, I introduce them to Harvey, and he is bigger and grander than anything they have ever offered me. When they leave impressed. Well, the same people seldom come back, but that's envy, my dear. There's a little bit of envy in the best of us. Well, too bad, isn't it?
Mr. Dowd, how did you happen to call him Harvey?
Well, Harvey is his name.
How do you know that?
Oh, well, that's an interesting coincidence, Doctor. Well, one night, several years ago, I was walking down Fairfax Street between 18th and 19th. Well, you know that block?
Yes, yes.
Well, I had just helped Ed Hickey into a taxi. Well, Ed had been mixing rye with his gin, and I felt that he needed it in vain. Well, as I was walking down the street, I heard a voice say, "Good evening, Mr. Dowd." Well, I turned, and there was this great white rabbit just leaning against the lamppost. Well, I thought nothing of that, because when you have lived in the town as long as I have, you get used to the fact that everybody knows your name. Well, naturally, I went from chat with him, and he said to me, "Well, Ed Hickey is a little spiffed this evening, or could I be mistaken?" Well, of course he was not mistaken. I think the world of all of it, but he was spiffed. Well, as we went on chatting, I finally said to him, "You have the advantage of me. Well, you know my name, and I do not know yours." He said right back at me, "Well, what name do you like?" Well, I didn't have to think a minute, because Harvey has always been my favorite name. So I said right back at him, "Harvey." And this is the most interesting part of the whole thing. He then said to me, "What a coincidence. My name happens to be Harvey."
What was your father's name, Dowd?
John Frederick.
Mr. Dowd, you had a playmate, didn't you? Somebody you spent many happy, carefree hours with?
Well, oh yes, Doctor, didn't you?
What was his name?
Vern McElhenney. Did you know the McElhenneys, Doctor?
No.
Well, too bad. They were wonderful people and they circulated.
Wasn't there someone, someplace, sometime who you knew by the name of Harvey? Wasn't there anyone at all?
Well, no, Doctor. I think that's why I had such high hopes for it.
All right, Wilson, let's take Mr. Dowd upstairs now.
You know what? No. You sat here forgetting about where Dr. Trumley is and all about the whole situation. You made this your show, you run it.
Come on, Dowd. Come on, Elwood.
Well, very well, Lyman. But I'm afraid I won't be able to visit for long. I have promised Harvey I will take him to the floor show.
Boy.
Doc, what's the matter? Nothing's better. Oh, I'm being followed. Oh, lock the door!
Wait, hold on a second. Who's following?
None of your business.
But you just said, Dumpy, on the telephone. Hello, Mr. Dumpy. Get that guy down. 1 second, Doctor.
I want to see Dr. Trumley.
Judge Gaffney. Hey, you murderer.
Dr. Trumley, we have to speak to you. This thing is serious.
Well, it certainly is.
More serious than you may suspect. Can we go somewhere to talk?
No, not there.
The doctor doesn't want you in his office.
No, sir.
Then sit down, Dr. Trumley. Sit down, little man.
Sit down, Dr. Chumley. Sit down, little man.
Wilson, Don't leave me.
Okay, Doc. Now then, here are my notes. The facts. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Is that good?
Now then, Dr. Tony, has it ever occurred to you that there might be something like this rabbit Harvey?
Of course not. Anyone who thinks so is crazy. Well, don't look at me like that. There's nothing funny about me. I'm just like my father's side of the family. They're all dead.
Now then, my client, the plaintiff, Mrs. B. Louise Simmons, swears under oath that on the morning of November the 2nd, while standing in the kitchen of her home, hearing her name called, she turned and saw the great white rat of Harvey. He was staring at her. Resenting the intrusion, she made certain remarks and drove the creature from her home.
What did she say to him?
She was in bed. The remarks were not.
I want to know how she got him out of her sanitary mind.
I hate to have you tell him, Judge. It just isn't a bit like Mother.
Quit stalling. Let's have it.
She looked him right in the eye and exclaimed, in the heat of anger,
"The hell! The hell with you!" He left.
Yes, but that's beside the point. The point is it perjury or something else? I ask for your opinion.
Lucy, I've been looking all over for you.
Dr. Sanderson, disregard what I said this afternoon. You're a very astute young man.
Lyman, did you hear?
Oh, baby!
See you later.
Well, you've got to keep up well without me, Doctor.
No, I want the sanitarium the way it was before that man came out here this afternoon.
I know what you mean.
You do?
Oh, well, it certainly gets on anyone's nerves. The way Uncle Elwood knows what's going to happen before it even happens. Well, this morning, for instance, he told us that Mrs. McElhenny's Aunt Rose was going to stop by unexpectedly tonight from Cleveland.
And did she?
Did she what?
Aunt Rose, did she come just as Harvey said she would?
Oh, yes, well, things always turn out the way Uncle Elwood says they will. But what does it matter? We don't care about the McElhennys.
You say this sort of thing happens often?
Yes, and isn't it silly? Uncle Elwood says that Harvey tells him everything. Harvey knows everything. How can Harvey know everything when there is no such thing as Harvey?
Life specs. I've been spending my life among life specs, while miracles have been leaning on lampposts on 18 and Fairfax.
Huh. Oh, good. Nobody here but people. Mother, I told you not to go down. Oh, good afternoon, you're told. I got Elwood's bathrobe. Well, why are you all standing around? I thought you'd be committing him by now.
Sit down there, sweet Louise.
Oh, well, I will not sit down there. Huh.
Hey, Senor, how about me and you stepping out Saturday night?
Certainly not. Martha May, come here. I'm sorry. Oh, well, that's everything settled.
Oh, wait, Bill.
Doctor, may I give my opinion?
Yes, do by all means.
Although his opinion, oh, that's the man I told you about. The eyes.
Doctor, it is my opinion that Ella P. Dowd is suffering from a third-degree hallucination and the other party is victim to eye suggestion. I recommend shock from Mueller number 977 and a bed rest at home for...
You do?
That's my diagnosis, Doctor. Your brother will not see this rabbit anymore after this injection. We've used it on 1,000 of psychopathic cases.
Oh, psychopathic case! Do not call my brother a psychopathic case. There's never been anything like that in our family. If you didn't think Uncle Elwood was psychopathic, why did you bring him all the way out here, Mother? Well, where could I have taken him? I couldn't take him to jail, could I? Besides, it's not your uncle's fault. Well, why did Harvey have to speak to him? A town full of people, why do you have to speak to Elwood?
Stop putting your oar in. Keep your oar out. If this formula brings people back to reality, that's what we want Elwood. Give it to him.
See, I'm not sure that would work in a case of this kind, Harvey.
It always has.
Well, Harvey always follows Elwood home.
He does?
Yes, and you give this to Elwood and he can't see him. You won't let him in. Then when Harvey comes to the door, I'll deal with him. Mother, stop talking to us, Harvey, as if there was such a thing. Oh, Martin May, you've got a lot to learn.
make up your minds, why don't we go down to Charlie's place and have a drink?
Oh no, Elwood, stay here. Yes, little Elwood.
Stay here, son.
Oh, well, I plan to leave, and you want me to stay. Well, an element of conflict in any discussion is a good thing. It means everybody is taking part and nobody is left out. Well, I like that. Oh, tell me, Doctor, how did you get along with Harvey?
We're waiting for your decision, Doctor.
What?
Your answer?
I must be alone with this man. Please step into the other room.
Myrtle, this is for adults. All right, I'll go.
I'll have my diagnosis in a moment.
Don't worry, Doctor. Stay here, Elwood.
Now, let me give you this chair.
Thank you, Doctor.
Give me one moment, I have to out my scarf, sirs. Here it is. Watch out in your sister's room.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
Now, tell me, Mr. Dobbs, what kind of man are you? Where'd you come from?
Well, didn't have to be one of my cards.
And where on the face of this terrible earth did you find a thing like him?
Well, Harvey the hookup
Is it true that he has a function that he...
gets advance notice? Well, I'm happy to say it is. Well, Harvey is versatile. He can stop clocks.
What?
Well, you've heard it. The expression, well, his face would stop the clock.
Yes, but to what purpose?
Well, Harvey says he can look at your clock and stop it. And you can go away for as long as you like, with whomever you like, as far away as you like, and when you come back, not a moment will have ticked by.
And he does this for you?
Oh, well, he is willing to at any time. But I've never thought of any place I'd rather be. Well, I'm always having a fine time with whoever I'm with, wherever I am. Well, I'm having a fine time with you right now, Doctor. Corona, Corona.
I know where I go.
Well, where?
Akron.
Akron.
There's a cottage camp outside of Akron. In the groves of the maple trees. Cool. Green. Beautiful.
My favorite tree.
I go there with a pretty young woman. A strange woman. A quiet woman.
Under a tree.
I wouldn't even want to know her name. And she wouldn't even know mine. But to her, I would just be Mr. Brown.
Well, why wouldn't you want to know her name? Well, you might be acquainted with the same people.
I'd send out her cold beer. Oh, and I'd tell her things. Things that I locked up. Things that I locked up in here. And then I'd send out more cold beer.
Well, no whiskey?
Beer's better.
Well, maybe under a tree, but she might like a highball.
I wouldn't let her talk to me. But I would talk. And she'd reach her soft, white hand out and say, "You poor, poor thing. Oh, you poor, poor thing."
Well, how long would you like this to go on, Doctor?
2 weeks.
Well, wouldn't that get just monotonous? Just Akron, cold beer, and poor thing for 2 weeks?
No. Oh, no. It would be wonderful.
Well, I can't help but feel you are making a mistake with all that cold beer and no whiskey. And I know you are making a mistake with not letting that young girl talk. Well, if she gets around at all, she may have picked up some interesting little news items.
Cold beer. Akron. One last fling. Oh, God. Man.
Well, Doctor, do you think you'd like to lay down for a while?
No. Tell me, could he, would he do this for me?
Well, he couldn't, he might. I've never heard Harvey say a word against Akron. Well, speaking of Harvey, Doctor, do you know where he is?
You don't know?
Well, the last time I saw him, he was with you. Well, that's it. He's probably waiting for me down at Charlie's place.
He's at Charlie's?
Excuse me, Doctor.
Not there, Mr. Dobbs.
Well, Doctor, I couldn't leave without saying goodbye to my good friend, Dr. Sanderson.
Dr. Sanderson isn't your friend. None of those people are. I'm your friend.
Well, that's very nice of you, Doctor, as I'm yours.
And that's
that sister of yours, she's at the bottom of this conspiracy against you. She's trying to persuade me to lock you up here. She had the power of your attorney and the key to your safety box. She brought you out here this afternoon.
Well, Rita did all that in one afternoon. Well, she's certainly a whirlwind.
Good God, man! Have you no righteous indignation?
Well, Dr. Chung, my mother used to say to me, in this world, Elwood. Well, she'd always call me Elwood. She would say, in this world, Elwood, you must be oh so smart or oh so pleasant. Well, for years I was smart. Well, I recommend it pleasant. Well, you may quote me.
Very well. I'll protect you, even if I have to lock her up out here. You wouldn't like that, right?
Well, Doctor, I wouldn't want Vita to stay out here unless she wanted to stay and that she liked it out here. Well, I just think she'd be happier at home with me, Myrtle May, and Harvey. Well, Miss Kelly, well, divine grace has never brightened this enchanted face. Well, opposite allergy, my dear, you've never looked lovelier.
Oh, he'll never feel happier, Mr. Dowd. I know it.
Well,
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, pal. Maybe this rabbit gag's a good one. Kelly never plays good.
Well, Ovid has always been my favorite poet.
Okay, you're discharged. Upstairs, buddy.
Wilson, take your hands off that man. Apologize to Mr. Dowd.
Apologize to this guy? The one with the rabbit?
Apologize. Apologize.
Okay, fine. I apologize. There's the door.
Well, if I leave, I'll remember.
Mr. Dowd, do women often come up and kiss you like Miss Kelly did?
Well, every once in a while.
Yes.
Well, I heard it too.
To hell with decency. I gotta find me that rabbit. Go ahead.
Good evening, Dr. Sanderson.
Just a minute now. Doctor, do you agree with my diagnosis?
Yes, call them all in.
Thank you, Doctor. Mrs. Simmons? Judge Gaffney? Please step in here, please.
Who is it, Settle?
Yes. I find that I concur with Dr. Sanderson.
That's wonderful. What a relief.
Thank you for this. Oh, well, why don't we celebrate? I've got some bars listed on the back of, well, this card.
Now, this injection carries a violent reaction. We can't give to this without his consent.
He'll give it if I ask him.
To give up this rabbit, I doubt it.
Don't ask him, just give it to him.
Well, Bessie's barn dance, Blondie's chicken inn, well, better late than never, Betty's drive-in. Well, we should go to Betty's drive-in. Well, we should telephone for table, Vita. How many of us will be there?
Oh, Elwood.
Mr. Dowd, I have an injection for you. No, it will be good for you.
Will you take it?
Elwood, you won't be seeing this rabbit anymore.
But you will see your responsibilities, your duties.
Well, Doctor, I'm sure if it's coming from you, it must be a very fine thing. And if I happen to run into anyone who I think might need it, well, I will certainly recommend it. Well, for myself, well, I would not.
Oh, well, do you hear that, Judge? Do you hear that, Doctor? Well, that's what we have to put up with. Oh.
Well, Vita, do you want me to take this?
Elwood, you're my brother, and I love you. I'd do anything for you. Miss Harvey would do anything for you. He's making a fool out of you, Elwood. Don't be a fool.
I won't, Vita.
Oh, you could be doing anything. You could be on the Western Waterboard right now. If you only come over and ask him.
Well, Vita, if that's what you want, Harvey and I will go over and ask them tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Oh, Myrtle May and I don't want to live another tomorrow. Not if we have to live with that rabbit. Our friends never come to visit. We have no social life. Well, no life at all. We're both miserable. Oh, I wish I were dead. Maybe you don't care.
Well, I've always wanted Vita to have everything she needs. Vita, sure. All right, Doctor, I'll take it. Where do I go?
do you want?
I'm looking for a little short oh, there you are. Lady, you hopped out of my cab without paying.
Oh, I'm sorry. How much was it?
All the way here from town, $2.75.
275. Just 1 second. Oh, no, that's not it. Myrtle, do you have 275 I can borrow? Well, I spent that money Uncle Elwood gave me on my new hairdo for the party. Judge Gaffney, do you have 275?
Sorry, nothing but a check.
We don't take checks.
I know.
Oh, well, Dr. Chumley? Oh, here. Do you have 275 I could give this man I came out with on my coin purse?
I don't have my wallet now. I have no time to get it now. I have to get all of this injection.
Well, I'll just have to get it from my brother. But I can't get it right now. He's getting an injection.
Wait a minute. You're gonna get my money from your brother, and he's out here to get the stuff they shoot out here?
Well, yes, it'll only be a few minutes.
Lady, I want my money now.
Well, but I told you, and I want you to take us back to town anyway.
And I told you, I want my money now. I'm nosing the cab back to town, and you can wait for the bus at 6 in the morning.
Oh, well, it won't be pig-headed silver seats. I should say so.
What's the matter with you?
Nothing 275 won't fix. I told you, take it or leave it.
Oh. Dr. Chumley, can Elwood step out for a minute? This man won't wait.
Don't be too long.
Elwood, oh, come here. Oh, I came off without my coin purse. You have 275 I could give this man, but do not give him a penny more. He's been very rude.
Well, how do you do? That is my name, Elwood P.
Offering Miney J.
Well, nice to meet you, Mr. Wofford. This is my sister, Mrs. Simmons. Well, my charming little niece, Myrtle May Simmons. Oh, Judge Gaffney, and of course, Dr. Chumley. Happy looked around here long.
More like it.
Do you enjoy your work?
That's okay. I've been working for Apex Steps for 15 years now. My brother Joe works for Brown almost 12 years now.
Oh, you drive for Apex and your brother for Browns. Well, that's very interesting, isn't it, Vita? Well, let me give you one of my cards, Mr. Wofford.
Let's not take too long, Mr. Down.
Of course, certainly. One moment. Well, I live here at this address with my charming little niece and my sister. Won't you and your brother come over sometime and have dinner?
Sure. Be glad to.
Well, when? When would you be glad to?
Well, this week I'm booked every night but Tuesday.
Well, I'll expect you on a Tuesday night then.
Sure.
Oh, Elwood. I'm sure this man has plenty of friends of his own.
Well, Vita, one can't have too many friends.
Elwood, don't leave Dr. Chumley waiting. That's rude.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, here's the bill. Keep the change. I hope to meet you and your brother sometime on a Tuesday night, and I'll be delighted. Excuse me now.
Sure. Sweet guy.
Yeah, well, you could have very much as well have waited.
Oh, no, lady. I've been driving the Troupe for 15 years. Take them out to get the stuff they shoot out here, take them back afterward, change every time.
Well, I don't hope so.
Oh, and you ain't kidding. On the way out here, they sit back, they enjoy the ride. They talk to me. Sometimes we look at the birds flying and watch the sunsets. And other times we look at the birds flying when there ain't no birds flying and watch the sunsets while it's raining. I was having a swell time. Big tips. But afterwards, ho-ho.
Afterwards, oh. What do you mean afterwards, oh?
Crab. They yell at me to watch the lights, watch the brakes, watch the intersections. They yell at me to hurry. They got no faith in me or my buggy. Yet it's the same cab, the same driver, and the exact same roads we took to get here. No fun and no tips.
Oh, well, my brother would tip you anyway. She's very generous.
Oh, not after this he won't be. Lady, after this injection, he'll be a perfectly normal human being. We all know what bastards they are. Glad I met you. Oh, wait.
But just get me. Myrtle May. Stop it! Elwood, come out here!
Can't do this! Dr. Tony is giving me the injection.
But I don't want it to happen. Stop it! I don't like people like that. Oh, take another shot. Stop it! You shut up! I've lived longer than you have. Well, I remember my father. I remember
stop the injection.
Oh, you haven't given it to them yet, have you?
No, don't break up. Wilson, give Mrs. Simmons eyes.
Oh, leave me alone! Don't touch me, you white slaver!
You don't know what you want. You didn't want that rabbit either.
Oh, well, then touch it to you and Bertha May, Ellen, and I want to live with Harvey. You never have to come over anyways. It's none of your business. Ellen! Ellen! Ellen!
There. Well, Vita's all worn out. Well, she's done a lot today.
Have it your own way. I'm not stopping my game at the club again. No matter how big this animal is.
Ellen, I want to leave. I wish I'd never seen this place.
But, see, here.
It's whatever Vita says, Doctor.
It's my credit purse. Oh well, I could have paid that man myself. Oh, Harvey! Oh, come on, Elwood. Come on, Myrtle May.
I'll be out in a moment, Vita.
Come along, Elwood.
Well, Doctor, for years, I've wondered what Harvey's family wealth